About 50 days ago, I had the opportunity to test the MetaQuest 3 for the first time. Meta sent an invitation for me to go to London so that I can provide you with a preview and test it on your behalf. Almost 2 months have elapsed since that time, and following my initial hands-on video and my review video after a 4-day testing period, which truly does not merit the name in any way, I am now proceeding to my ultimate, earnest and meticulous evaluation of the MetaQuest 3. I have already told you enough about the technical data in the past videos, so I will not overload you here with technical specifications or comparisons. In this video, I want to talk openly and honestly about the obvious strengths of the Quest 3, but also about the weaknesses that have only become apparent in long-term testing. If this video helps or you like it, then please give me a thumbs up, and also write in the comments if you are satisfied with the MetaQuest 3 and if you like this video. I'm not only happy about your comments because I enjoy reading them and try to answer as many as I can. They also aid me immensely because videos with lots of thumbs up and comments are simply shown to more people. And if you like this review here, then you should ensure that as many individuals as possible see it. If you are also interested in buying a MetaQuest 3, I would appreciate it if you use my links in the video description or in the pinned comment. This way you don't pay a cent more, but support me in my work in the gaming room. And now let's not waste any time and get started right away. First, a small disclaimer. In this video, I also focus specifically on the criticisms I have about Quest 3. After finishing writing this video, it was important to me to point out again in advance that I still consider Quest 3 to be the best deal for getting started in virtual reality. You receive a lot in exchange for your money, and it is of an exceptionally good quality. Do not be disheartened, but I must also truthfully acknowledge the shortcomings. But I also always let my assessment flow in a little bit, how important the whole thing is to me. But in this video, we're going to strip down and take a look at what can really bother you after using the Quest 3 for 50 days. I think that this video represents my final conclusion on Quest 3 because I have had enough time to test it. However, if there are still things that I notice later, I will definitely inform you. Point 1, design and processing. The Quest 3 is meticulously processed and has the appearance of a unified entity. Even after this trial period, my first impression has not changed, but 3 things come to mind that you must consider. Initially, the standard loops on the controllers tend to discolor quickly, turning into a grayish color with use. You can easily eliminate that with some dish soap. However, it does not look nice initially. Secondly, you can achieve the same effect with the standard head strap, also made of fabric. The standard head strap has indeed improved compared to Quest 2 due to Quest 3's reduced front heaviness. But for long gaming sessions, you should invest in an upgrade of the head strap. For instance, you can find the Meta Elite strap or the Elite battery strap here, which provide added comfort and are made of plastic for reduced susceptibility to contamination. However, the original accessories from Meta are pricey for what they offer, and I would definitely recommend you to check third-party manufacturers. Find product links in video description, also present alternatives here for your convenience. By the way, you can find my test of Meta's original accessories here in the info card. Thirdly, the bottom wheel for adjusting the eye distance is very stiff in the area of the higher eye distance on both of my Quest 3 models in the studio. I don't think that's good because you have to use violence and are afraid of breaking something. However, I cannot assess the significance of these points for you. I have no complaints about the design and construction at all, and overall I find it to be very well executed and of high quality. However, there might have been more details in the 3 points that were mentioned. Up next are the controllers. The controllers also feel high quality. The buttons have a good pressure point and the analog stick is easy to operate, just like with vibration feedback, which Meta TrueTouch Haptics calls. Do the Quest 3 controllers come close in quality and operation to the Touch Pro controllers? Overall, I wonder how Meta managed to handle tracking so well that the tracking rings are eliminated and it is also possible to play in direct sunlight. At least the tracking on the Quest 2 was done via infrared, and this frequency range of light was always disrupted by the sun. I have not noticed any significant tracking issues with Quest 3, quite the opposite. I even have the impression that the tracking has advanced one step further in comparison to its previous versions. Point 3, comfort. I just told you something regarding the included head strap. you should definitely allocate a few euros to enhance. However, the comfort also relies on the face cover. The included face cover provides a comfortable wearing feel that is to my liking. Since it is made of fabric again, it is not particularly sweat resistant, and especially when passing it on to others to play with, it is not very pleasant because it can feel like a wet sponge if the previous person has sweated. Meta has therefore released a silicone cover itself, namely this one, which I personally really don't like at all because it is not breathable at all. I'm still searching for a good solution in this area. I was very happy with VR Curve's artificial leather cover for the Quest 2. However, up to this point, I have not been able to obtain any face covers in order to test them for you. When discussing face covers, we can also talk about the eye relief mechanism, which enables you to adjust the distance between your eyes and the lenses. I believe it's a great idea because you no longer need the glasses spacer and you can adjust the distance for different glasses sizes. Generally, the mechanism works well and stays stable when the face cover is reconnected to the headset. However, pushing it out can be a bit fiddly at first, but you get used to it relatively quickly, and I'm curious if third-party manufacturers will adopt this mechanism or not, may at all in view of existing patents. Controls and connections. The connections and controls all function effectively and in accordance with the intended. Charging through the 3 charging pins is neither exceptionally quick nor slow for wireless charging in the Meta station. What hardly anyone had on their radar, however, was the atypical placement of the 3.5mm headphone jack on the right side of the MetaQuest. With all other VR headsets, the connection was always on the left side, making the search for wired headphones really difficult. For instance, here's the Logitech G333, which I was very happy with on the Quest 2 and which I would have wanted to keep using. There is a problem here, as the cable to the left ear on the G333 is shortened, while the cable to the right ear is longer in length. But for Quest 3, we'd need it the other way. And just sticking them in the ears the other way doesn't work either, as the sound is reversed left and right. In this case, a Quest setting to swap stereo sound left and right would be ideal. Until that becomes possible, I am eagerly anticipating a mirrored model of my Logitech G333. But do you perhaps have a better wired solution? Then please write it in the comments. And no, I do not want to use wireless. I have a multitude of wireless headphones here in the studio, but I desire a reliable and functioning solution and do not want to be dependent on an even greater number of batteries than I am already. Now let's talk about the optics, that is the lenses and the displays. The Quest 3 has pancake lenses that provide a really clear image from edge to edge, even if the Quest 3 should slip. I would also rate the quality as very high, but until today, I can't really say if these are exactly the same lenses as the ones in the Quest Pro, because the interaction between the lenses and displays is highly individual. But I would say that the lenses already have roughly the same properties as the Quest Pro. The displays have a resolution of 2064 x 2208 pixels and deliver a beautiful picture both in optimized standalone games and in PC VR. Of course, there's always room for improvement, but we have a great standard built in, which in my opinion doesn't require much more in terms of resolution and leaves no wishes unfulfilled. The refresh rate is 90 to 120 Hz, also great values. If you are not satisfied with the resolution of Quest 3, then I can recommend this video of mine to you. I'll explain, among other things, how to enhance Quest 2 graphics in all games and how to utilize Quest 3 as a 3D camera. By combining lenses and displays, the field of view, or the so-called field of view, has increased again and is now 110 degree horizontally and 97 degree vertically. The entire thing was purchased by a specific binocular overlap. This term also denotes a region that is visible only with a single eye. For instance, we have this in Quest 3 in the nose area and on the outer display edges all the way to the left and right. Personally, I don't mind, but for completeness, I'd like to mention it. What needs improvement are the black levels. Although these are noticeably better compared to the predecessor, due to the installed LCD panels with constant backlighting, black is still more of a dark grey. In bright and dark scenes, this is less noticeable because the eye adjusts to brightness, but in dark games you can perceive it occasionally. Undoubtedly, OLED or an LCD display with mini LED backlighting would have been superior. However, apart from the PSVR 2, competitors in this price range use identical technology and do not provide any advantages or benefits. In additional tests, another effect could be observed, namely in extremely dark environments when gazing into intense light. One could perceive a glare that appears similar to being blinded by a light one is looking into. Depending on how you look at this light source, the light moves across the lens from top to bottom and from left to right. In addition, in areas of solid color, if you look very closely, there is the effect that you can see the pixel structure. Many people talk about Mura in this context, but in this case, I'm not quite sure if that's really Mura or if the effect now has a different name in this case, but that's complaining at a very high level here anyway, and actually nobody is interested in the name, but rather that the effect is there. Overall, I think the picture impression is good and quite contrast rich despite the LED. Unfortunately, the perfect display has not yet been invented overall, and of course the Quest 3 suffers from it, just like the entire competition. Audio quality. The quality of the audio playback of the Quest 3 speakers is once again very good and provides a good spatial impression. Per Meta, the speakers are expected to be around 40% louder and have noticeably deeper bass. I can generally verify this, but I also perceive that the audio playback is less protected compared to the Quest 2. This implies that people around you will notice a lot more of your game sound than if you were playing with the Quest 2, for example. A crucial aspect in a headset prioritizing social apps, interacting with others and leading us into the metaverse is the microphone sound quality, which is incredibly important to me. And here I could genuinely stone Meta. The voice quality on the Quest 2 was genuinely excellent. With Quest Pro, it was slightly worse. However, hardly anyone noticed because it was simply too costly and hardly anyone purchased it. But in Quest 3, Meta made a big mistake.
Peter packt pikante Paprikapaste in eine praktische Plastikverpackung. Peter packt pikante Paprikapaste in eine praktische Plastikverpackung. Peter packt pikante Paprikapaste in eine praktische Plastikverpackung.
I don't fully understand why the microphone quality is significantly worse than on the Quest 2. Meta says that the quality is supposed to be improved with updates, but it is still completely unclear to what extent this can be fixed through software. I believe the installed microphone's quality is already good. However, the slimmer housing makes the microphones closer to the mouth, increasing susceptibility to popping sounds and distortion. All in all, the microphone is usable, so don't get me wrong, it's not a catastrophe. But if you're coming from the level of the Quest 2, where the sound quality was really surprisingly good for a headset, this is a point that is noticeably worse. The battery life. The Quest 3 wants to be powerful and lightweight. Powerful means it needs more electricity than its predecessor with the same efficiency. Light means no excessively heavy battery. Thus, I can already determine that the battery of the Quest 3 runs out faster than the battery of the Quest 2. In normal games, this is still within limits, but with mixed reality, you can practically watch the battery drain. And then I thought, whoever loves one must like the other. There is still the original battery strap from Meta, which I always liked for the Quest 2. That costs €150, but unfortunately only provides marginal help. Recently, I played 110 minutes of Red Matter 2, which is undeniably a challenging game. The battery strap was completely devoid of charge afterwards, and the headset was only at a 78% battery level. Where I could play for 5 hours worry-free with Quest 2 and battery strap, it's a different story here. That's why I'm thinking of using a third party for the battery strap for the first time and trying it out. But I am also very curious to hear from you how you deal with it. Which battery strap do you use? Feel free to write it in the comments. Then we now come to the part where I approach with the most mixed feelings. Mixed reality and pass-through. Meta promotes the Quest 3 as the first consumer headset that also offers appealing mixed reality experiences. Here I have to at least differentiate between mixed reality and pass-through for my evaluation. Let's commence with the pass-through initially. Just like with the Meta Quest Pro, I approached it with the incorrect expectations. The optimal state that we can imagine with pass-through is that you put on the headset and see your surroundings as if you didn't have a VR headset on your nose. And I believe Meta also to some extent promoted it through the rendered finished clips. Those expecting this will be let down. The Passthrough is a major step forward, particularly compared to its predecessors, but also to the considerably more expensive MetaQuest Pro, yet it remains far from perfect. There is more to it, and I think that the successors will focus strongly on it. So I'm torn back and forth about the Passthrough. However, he is known for his strong loyalty to his position. This means that objects seen through the Quest 3 cameras are definitely in that location. So you do not reach next to your coffee cup, but it is positioned exactly where it is displayed for easy access and convenience. The shimmering, known from the Quest 2 and the Quest Pro, is still present but greatly reduced. So that's it for the Passthrough for now. But if we now talk about the mixed reality mode, that is the Passthrough mode enriched with virtual content, it is really an incredible enrichment. The two high-resolution RGB cameras on the front of the Quest 3 not only offer a good view, but the depth sensor also adds to its strengths in this mode of operation. He acknowledges the depth of space and permits adversaries to conceal themselves behind cabinets, ascend on chairs, or descend from the ceiling onto you in applications of mixed reality. This is truly impressive and from my point of view a game changer. In addition, the depth sensor helps you with the automatic setup of the Guardian, that is the protection area of your game. Although the mixed reality mode already includes impressive apps, it is still very much in its infancy. It will be thrilling to witness the application areas the developers will explore in the upcoming years. Will this remain a gimmick, or will there be real substantial content, and will the developers integrate it as a permanent part of their games? I think that there is really a lot of potential in mixed reality, maybe even more acceptance than for virtual reality, which will also generally increase acceptance for such mixed reality headsets. Software provides a wide range of options. There are currently 500 games and apps in the MetaQuest 3 store, with more being added continuously. These also include absolute AAA titles like Star Wars Vader Immortal, The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, Red Matter 2, Medal of Honor, and Resident Evil 4. With that, Meta is significantly ahead in terms of the total number of games available in the store, as well as the number of exclusive titles it offers. However, it must also be said fairly that these 500 games are not necessarily optimized for the Quest 3. Meta stated that by the end of the year, 100 apps should receive Quest 3 support, which is only a fraction of the total apps in the store. But don't worry, the other games are automatically calculated sharper by the faster XR2 Gen 2 chip. Although this does not bring more details into a game, a sharper image is at least something. By the way, the app catalog of the Quest 3 is fully backwards compatible, so if you have already purchased games for the Quest 2 Pro or 1, you can continue playing them without any problems. Virtual Desktop, Quest Link and Air Link. Quest 3 plays a big strength in combination with the PC. Because just like its predecessors, the Quest 3 is not only designed as a standalone headset, but also as a PC VR headset. And there the Quest 3 makes every PC VR game shine in a new light. And the built-in Wi-Fi 6E standard shows its full strength. I'm completely satisfied with the headset in this area. For more info about PC VR gaming with the MetaQuest 3, you can find videos about it here in the ZockStube. If interested in buying Quest 3 or accessories after watching video, appreciate using my links. This way you don't pay a cent more and support me in my work in the gaming room. I can only recommend the 128 GB version if you use the Quest 3 as a pure PC for your headset. However, if you're considering using Quest 3 as a standalone headset and installing games locally, in my opinion, there's no way around the 512 GB variant. Especially when considering games' size development in last 3 years and its potential continuation in next 3 years. My final thoughts on MetaQuest 3. So now let's proceed to delve into my conclusion. As you may have noticed from my review, I have been relatively ruthless and honest in dealing with the weaknesses of the Quest 3. There is simply no perfect VR headset at the moment. Each headset currently still has weaknesses that each user perceives very individually and in their own way. Therefore, I would like to emphasize here once again that undoubtedly my judgment is extremely individual and subjective, and yours can undoubtedly be completely different. And to summarize, for me, the MetaQuest 3 is the best thing that could possibly happen to the virtual reality market. Sure, it's not cheap, but the components used are also high quality and really offer an impressive performance. Additionally, Meta subsidizes the headset so they don't cover production costs with the selling price. Of course, there are also areas to improve, but let's be honest, we face that with almost every headset, and even then when we're discussing more expensive headsets than the Meta Quest 3. From my point of view, there is no way around the Meta Quest 3 at this price. Finally, virtual reality has a headset that can significantly drive growth. Although the Quest 2 has already done a good job, the Quest 3 is overall much more impressive and above all available in Germany at release, which was not the case with the Quest 2. So if you're thinking about getting into virtual reality, then the Quest 3 is your jump-off point. Waiting isn't worthwhile now in my view, as no Christmas or Black Friday offers are anticipated at this point in time. Especially since at the moment you get 3 Asgard's Wrath, 2 for €60 with every Quest, and with the 512 GB variant you even get an additional 6 months of MetaQuest Plus worth around €100. So now strike or wait for another year longer. Perhaps Black Friday offers can be anticipated no earlier than the year 2024. Or find this video helpful, give me a thumbs up, find all my videos about Quest 3 on the right side. In this playlist, you will also find the tool with which you can improve the graphics of your Quest 3, and additionally, use your Quest 3 as a 3D camera. The video on the left side is shown to you by the all-powerful YouTube algorithm. Thank you for your thumbs up, your comments, and a big thank you to my Patreons.